I learned to wait a second. Hopefully I waited long enough. My last live, I was saying something already before it actually picked up on my deal. I just finished a pretty hard run, like hour and 10 minutes. Most of it was 7:30 pace. And then I had 4 times 4 minutes at 5:30 to 5:40 pace, which is pretty brutal, a lot of pain. 4 minutes recovery in between each of those like intervals, and then some time after. Man, I hope these jangly things don't, what are those called? Wind chimes don't mess with you. But I had a lot on my mind as I was running. I listened to a sermon, and I don't know if it's a brand new preacher that's believes in biblical cosmology. I'll have to look at the time on it, and I'll put the sermon in the description. I'm gonna walk away from this thing because it might be loud. But it was a phenomenal sermon. I listened to it while running. My wife's always like, how do you run listening to sermons and audiobooks and things that aren't like jam you up, pump you up music? And I just, for some reason, it must be the way my brain's wired. I can super focus while running on things, content. I mean, especially the last 2 years of, but before I get off too far off track, just sort of like rambling, I want to tell you some things that I thought about. Well, one cool thing is the sermon played all the way through, and then I thought there was piano music at the end of the sermon, but I swear this doesn't happen very often. Like the autoplay, the thing that happened right after the sermon was a 3-hour piano, and I know it's kind of cheesy a little bit that it was just like relaxing piano music, but I thought it was like the close of the service. But I was running and it just kept playing and kept playing and kept playing. And honestly, I think it was called, the title of it was The Secret Place, 3 hours worth. And so I think it was meant to be just like one of those synchronistic things, divine appointments, whatever you want to call it, where I just started praying. I just started lifting up all the people that listened to the Greg Locke, Dean Odell debate, and people that were there in person, people that have been listening, so many people that have been tuning in, other content creators that don't even really, follow Flat Earth or whatever. But yeah, looking at it, seeing what it is. So I prayed for him, his heart, his mind. Just the fact that, I heard recently his son Malachi brought biblical cosmology to him, and he rejected it. And I mean, I understand that it's weird, and it's almost like he made his mind up that he wasn't gonna let his son win or go in that direction. And now here he is where he is. So that was one neat thing. I have to get off pretty quick because I'm going to talk with Alan from Space Audits. He's going to run through his True Earther. If you go to trueearther.com, you'll see Jaron from Jaronism and Witsit Gets It, Austin. They have been putting on this really cool summit series where they're just different names for summit, and they bring in a bunch of speakers, just legends, people that are really seeking the truth. It's not just flat earth stuff, it's health, it's mentality, just like how you think about things. Stephen Dragon's going to be on there. I've been talking to him lately. He's a legend and really going to bring unique stuff. And he thinks differently than most folks. But my biggest thing with when y'all listen to his presentation, he believes in the Creator. He just has love for everybody, and he wants to heal and help people. I know when he came on Austin's stream, people were like, he's New Age, he's talking New Age, but we're all seeking, and I'm not like giving him a hall pass, and I'm not even saying he's doing anything right or wrong. I'm saying before you judge, hear him out and let him communicate what he's learned, because he's very skilled in like bringing trauma out of people, which is really neat. So yeah, check out trueearther.com for the summit that's coming up. I think it's this weekend. Maybe I'm wrong. And then what else did I have? Okay, so also go to Facebook if you have it. I know a lot of people don't use it. Look up Joe Hanvey. It's Hanvey. He was at the debate, and he got shouted out his work because he has some amazing telescopes, like ridiculous, crazy telescopes, and he has an idea to even go bigger with them. And he's looking into deep space, not that outer space is even real, but he's looking deep into the firmament and looking at the clusters, which is really neat. But the most unique thing is, like, let's say my hand is like a nebula, and it's got all these little twinkly or sparkly looking things that, you know, we think are planets of another galaxy or whatever. Well, he's found and seen shadows directly behind the planets on the, like, cloud structure, whatever it is. I believe it's all spiritual in nature anyway. But to me, that just says the sun is, you know, down lower in the firmament than these clusters, and they're getting sunlight as well. And these little things are casting, you know, short shadows to the smoke or whatever it is behind it. So that's epic. Joe Hanvey, check him out on Facebook. And we were having a talk just about some biblical stuff. And you know, when I run, I visualize like what, you know, I'm going to do at my next race and what I want to do with my family later in that day. I do a lot of praying. I do a lot of asking Yah for guidance and direction in my own life as a man to help other people and love on people, especially those that I don't necessarily agree with or line up eye to eye on stuff, because really we're all just trying to figure it out. We're seeking. We are allowed to ask questions. You know, we're humans and we have a mind and an imagination, and I've really enjoyed asking questions. Well, anyway, I am envisioning getting a hold of Witsit and getting a hold of Sean from Kingdom in Context and seeing if maybe Sean would host me and Joe on his channel, because it would be really cool to tell my brief story of how I even like came into biblical cosmology and how that led to Kingdom in Context and Ken at Hanging on His Words and Founded Earth Brothers and Wes Blaze and Matthew Jensen, those people, part of the Kingdom crew, and how I have returned or am returning to the eternal instructions from our Heavenly Father. And Joe has a different idea, or not a different idea, he just has different thinking because he searches the Bible out as well. So it'd be cool if the show started where we give our like testimony of how we figured out we're not living on a spinning water ball in space slinging around the sun, where we all kind of agree on that, and then we could dive into a little biblical questions, because I know Sean can answer like crazy amounts of questions, and hear Witsit's testimony too. I know he's told it before, but just like a brief testimony of how he found out about True Earth, and then anything he can add to the biblical conversation. So I don't know if it's going to happen. I mean, this is just me imagining, but it's worth a try. And I also thought about the guy that I'm going to link in my description that did the sermon. I'm like, maybe he'll come on and tell me how he found out about it, because he seems like a really cool guy. He's got a cool Southern accent. And that's what this channel is going to be about. As I grow it, I'm going to get OBS, which is just kind of like this behind the scenes. It's what Austin uses sometimes, or Streamlabs, I think is what he uses as well. But it gives you the ability to kind of have, you know, stuff around, and then you could bring people on and have a different screen with their face, and then you can flip it to, you know, if you wanted to show something on your computer. But I think I got everything. All that was rattling around in my brain. 8 minutes. It's kind of a short live. Got a couple thumbs up. 3 people watching. That's kind of neat. But I love y'all. And biggest advice is don't be scared, because they want you to fear. They want you to be timid and nervous about looking into these different truths and asking these different questions. But I don't care about the beast system anymore. I care about the basics, and that's going to be loving each other, making friends, having cool, sweet, fun conversations. Like when you imagine yourself like going camping and you're sitting around the fire, staring at the fire, just talking about anything, just loving life, not worrying about, you know, bills or your job. That's living. I mean, that's being very alive. And so that's what I'm interested in, is meeting people and being alive. So yeah, much love. And Alan, if you're watching, I'm gonna holler at you in just a second. All right, peace, y'all.